you're wondering why I look crazy, it's because I just got off a 5-hour flight. Just got home from Costa Rica, but I have book mail and I cannot wait until morning to open it. It is technically past midnight, so it's Monday, right? This is the only thing that's gonna make me not cry about the fact that I'm back. Alright, let's see. They really sealed it in here. This person I'm not gonna show you because I don't want to like give away their address, but I guess they used a box that they previously had gotten a package from, and they left on like their address in like the old, so like my shipping label's on top of theirs, but I can see theirs. And they ordered something from a place called Dark and Quirky. Not judging or anything, but I kind of want to know what that is. They're really making me work for this. Interesting. So apparently Dark and Quirky is a romance book box. All right, let's get back to it now that just kidding. I thought I broke the seal. I did not. Finally, it happened to me. Had it all in my face, and I just can't hide it. Ooh. Am I gonna read this immediately? Yes. Oh. Wow, they even gave me the card that it, like the fairy loot card that it came with. It says, A Diary of Blood is a delicious and rich Dracula retelling. Our heroine, Constanta, is saved by a mysterious and charming stranger who makes her his wife. As with all things foul, however, faux charm fades eventually, and she realizes her beloved might be more wicked than she ever imagined. So clearly I forgot how to read, but she's beautiful. Look at the sprayed edges. And as always, how beautiful is this? Oh my gosh. I love art inside books. And like they're already art, but then like you really have art. Oh, amazing. I'm excited to read this. I'm going to bed now. Good night, y'all. Talk in the morning. Good morning. Oh. That was unexpected. I haven't spoken to anyone all day, so I was not expecting to not have a voice. But yeah, it is the same day. I just, landed here in the middle of the night. I cannot even imagine having to go to work tomorrow. This sucks. I mean, I'm working today, but I'm working from home. So I actually just took like my little lunch break right now to go ship out a book that I actually sold right like the day I was leaving to vacation. So unfortunately for this buyer, they're just getting their package really late, which sucks. I hate getting excited for book mail and not getting it in a timely manner, but I do my best. What can I do if I'm not in the country? Anyways, I'm currently reading Tender in the... Oh my god, why can't I talk? I'm currently reading Tender is the Flesh, which is a novel by Agustina Basterica, which is an Argentinian author. And this book was translated, I believe, from Spanish to English. And essentially it's about a world, or our world, if there had been a disease that went across all animals and makes it so that if you eat animal meat, you can die. So people adapt to this by legalizing cannibalism. Essentially, they do have like farms and places where they breed certain humans who are specifically born, or like women are inseminated so that the children are raised and to be eaten. Essentially, they're given like specific hormones and things like that to help them like grow a lot more quickly, and people are eating them. And so this book is following a guy named Tejo, and Tejo essentially works at one of these places where they breed the humans, and you just see how he interacts with like the butcher who like cuts up the meat and sells it. He interacts with like a tannery where they like use the skin to create handbags and things like that. It's really interesting to see the author's like perspective of all the things that would be kind of impacted. I never thought about like, oh yes, we do get leather from animal skin and things like that. So it's interesting in that aspect. I'm just not really enjoying the writing style right now, but then again, I'm only 50 pages in. It is a short book, so I guess that is like about an eighth of the book. It's only like 260 pages long. But I'm curious to see if this is gonna get any more interesting. We'll find out. They just delivered a like as a gift a female product to the main character, and he's like, oh, this is so annoying, I don't know what I'm gonna do with her. But I have a feeling that he's probably going to like catch feelings, not in like a fall in love with her type of way, but just like, you know, show his humanity and like not be able to treat her as like a product. So I'm interested. Apparently this book has a lot of commentary on capitalism. We'll see. I'm at Starbucks right now. I'm gonna grab a quick drink, and then I have a meeting in like 10 minutes. I think I can make it. I got a couple of things in Costa Rica for my bookish collection that I am going to find a place for right now. First is, if I can get this sticker off. Okay, well that didn't work. I got this little mini book. It's so cute. This is The Little Prince in Spanish, El Principito. And I don't know, I just thought it was too cute to not buy. So I'm wasting my time on that. Or my money. And then I got this, oh lovely, that just ruined my nail. I got one of these in Detroit, but now I wanted another one. It's a little snow globe. I had a snow globe that I got from Detroit that was like really cute, and I don't know, are snow globes becoming my thing? Maybe. I normally don't pay attention to these, but these were so cute and I had to. And the last little thing I got was the last bookish thing I got was a little bookmark. This is Costa Rica. It's so cute, and my favorite colors, blue and yellow. I'm just getting home from work. Why do I have to start every clip with... Anyways, I just got home from work, and I actually have like a super long commute to work. It's like 2 hours each way. So I did get to finish Tender is the Flesh on the way to work. I mean, I only had like 4 pages left of this book. I ended up rating this a 3.5. I can't explain how disturbed I was by this book, but also like intrigued at the same time. So I was a little bit wrong about what it's about. It's actually, first of all, the main character's name is Marcos. I don't know what I said before, but it wasn't Marcos. And like the main like point of the book, I guess what I said, how it's about the world after like there's no more meat and they approve cannibalism. That's like the first half of the book, part 1. And then part 2, Marcos gets gifted and it's not a spoiler, it's in the back of the book. I always make sure because I'm so bad at summaries. It's not even funny. But in the back of a book, it says it too. So I'm good. Marcos gets gifted one of these, like, they call them heads or products. Basically a human that has been bred from birth in one of these like plants to be eaten. And so he's gifted one, and you're not supposed to treat them like humans. An inspector comes every once in a while to make sure that they're like good. If you choose to slaughter it for meat, you have to get like a certificate or something. You have to just prove like these are not people, these are products. So he gets gifted one, and then he starts to develop these feelings for her. That's as much as I will say, but the stuff that happens is so disturbing. And then you think something is happening in the main character's mind, and it's actually the total opposite. Like, the ending blew my freaking mind. Without, like, if you had asked me what is the least plausible thing that's going to happen, it would be that. Crazy. I also was like, at a certain point, I'm like, okay, things are escalating a lot right now. I can't see how I have such little pages left. How are we going to solve the problem in such little time? And they did. It was very shocking and very abrupt. Just like, wow, what the heck did I just read? That's literally how I felt the entire time. What the heck did I just read? But I still liked it. I didn't think I was gonna like it because I wasn't feeling the writing style at first, but then eventually I got used to it and I was like, okay, I understand what's going on. Some of the wording was a little bit confusing, especially with the world building. This kind of was like a fantasy book where you have to like understand not the magic system but the government system of the world. So it was really interesting. And then I flew through A Dowry of Blood, which, look how beautiful it is. I took the sleeve off and was shocked because I didn't realize it was going to be also this gorgeous underneath. But I should have known because Fairy Loot always has like these beautiful books. And I know I already showed you this, but you know, like, you can just always look at it more. Why not? Right? And also, I thought it would be fun because I have a pretty large bookmark collection and I got this one in Costa Rica. I thought it'd be fun to start showing you guys my bookmarks. If you care, let me know if you care. Anyways, A Dowry of Blood, which I unboxed yesterday. So I actually was confused about this, I guess. I thought this book was about Costanza, which is the first bride. I want to say bride. What's the word for a bride after she's married? A wife. Oh my gosh. This is about, I thought it was about Costanza, who's the first wife of Dracula, but it's actually about all his partners, but it's just told in her perspective. And I think it's called second person point of view. Like, she's writing it to him, so she's saying you as like this giant letter to him. So this whole book is a letter to Dracula, and she's kind of like detailing their lives together. It's actually a pretty short book. Like, I have 120 pages left. I flew through this book. It was so freaking good. If I had still had the bus ride home, I probably would have been done, but I got a ride home today, so that is that. I'm I'm so sad because I've been trying to bring down my physical TBR so badly. And then I got books for my birthday, and I bought a book when I go into Costa Rica because I always buy a book on vacation. And I was like, great, now I'm back to square one. But then I read these 2 books and I'm like, okay, we're making progress. Just kidding. I forgot I pre-ordered this book off Amazon and it arrived today, and this always happens to me. Every time I'm like, book buying ban is starting now, and then like 2 days later, a pre-ordered book appears on my doorstep. Amazon, me and you have a toxic enabling relationship. We really do. Anyways, let's open it. So satisfying. All right, the book I got was Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I feel like at this point she's just an auto buy for me. I really loved Love on the Brain, and I also loved The Love Hypothesis. Even though people have their criticisms of that book, but I liked it. Like, we do not need to take romance books so seriously. They're supposed to be light and fluffy and fun. So, yeah. Here we go. Book number 4 by Ali Hazelwood. Although, I will say that I didn't like Loathe to Love You. And also, I'm kind of mad because I only counted it as 1 book in my book count for the year. But there were technically 3 novellas in there. And they're sold separately. So, I could have counted 3. But whatever, it is what it is. I don't know what this one is about. Shall I read it to you? All right, well, I said I was going to read it to you, and then I read it to myself. But basically, Elsie is a physicist, and then on the side, to make some more money, she fake dates people for some extra coins. And then all of a sudden she finds out that the brother of her favorite client is actually someone that she's working with now. So the other side of her, what is it? I can't speak today. The other like fake world that she lives in comes crashing down because now the 2 worlds have combined. That actually sounds a lot more interesting than I thought. I think I bought this book without even reading the synopsis. Like, Ali Hazelwood is literally just an auto buyer at this point. So I guess we'll have to add that one to the list for the week. So today was actually the first time that I made it to work since my birthday. And I came to work to find a little cute gift. It was so adorable. It was so much better when it was wrapped. She had like a little bow. And I actually thought that this was really cute. So thoughtful. This was my manager, by the way. She bought me her favorite books, and then she made me little notes in my favorite color, yellow, about like each one, what it's about and why she loves it. Yeah, just like, I don't know, isn't that like so thoughtful and so cute? I've never had someone like put that much thought into like something before. She really thought about it. And also, I don't know, it's just something about her wanting to share her favorite books with me. It's like sharing a little piece of her. I don't know if you guys are sentimental like me, but my books mean a lot to me. So like gifting someone your favorite book, the whole point of that is that we are back to square one with my physical TBR. Actually, we're in the negative because this is more books than what I read to caught up. But she got me Her Body and Other Parties by Carmen Maria Machado, who wrote In a Dream House, which I just read recently. A children's Bible. I don't know what this one is about, but my manager says a really weird end of times book told from the perspective of kids. Notes of eco-horror and generational divides. I couldn't put this down when I read it. And she also suggested I do something fun after reading it because it's really heavy. So that's a little terrifying, but also interesting. And it seems like an easy read. And then I got Zone 1 by Colson Whitehead, which is about this is a fantasy story about a pandemic that hits the world. Wow, that's so interesting. So I just read the back, and it's actually kind of like a zombie story. So people get split up into two groups, the living and the living dead, and then these people over the course of 3 days are doing their best to kind of eliminate and separate the living and the zombies out of lower Manhattan and kind of like recreate the world. And it's funny because they cite having post-apocalyptic stress disorder, which is so funny. Like, I'm pretty sure you could just have PTSD. Like, an apocalypse is pretty traumatic if you ask me. Anyways, that's that. The last thing I have to unbox here. I actually got this while I was away on vacation. This is from Bunsey Book Club. I think it is on Instagram, and she does like book-based humor. And she also has a little shop, and she sells like some of the funny things that she says about books and just be trolling books all the time. And I actually, oh, this is so cute. Thank you for supporting my small business. I thought these were really freaking funny, especially because I just recently read Addie LaRue, and I buddy read it with my friend Jeannie, and I thought it was so funny because I constantly was like, how does she spend like overnights with these people? Or maybe not the overnight, because so Addie LaRue, you know, she, if you haven't read it, once people like look away, walk out of the room, etc., they forget about her immediately. And so like she would have these times where she would spend the entire night with a person, and I literally would be like, this is so unrealistic, because like they have to walk away for something, like to get something in another room or to pee. Like, what does she do, follow them to the bathroom? And so I really thought it was funny that they had a bookmark that says, so no one pees. Like, that's exactly what I was saying the whole book. It was great. And then this is from A Court of Thorns and Roses. It says, I can't even read. Funny. And then this one says, a bad word, you, Tamlin. Coming to you live from my cozy reading corner. Thank you to my friends Jeanette and Nikki for buying me this beanbag so I could be cozy and cute and yellow. Anyways, not gonna rant for long today. Honestly, I'm so surprised by the large number of books that I've read this week that I probably will not even put B-roll in this video because there's so much footage. And also, this was supposed to be a weekly reading vlog, but now it's probably going to be reading 7 books in 7 days, because I think I can read 1 book per day this week. So I've actually been reading a different book. The last time we spoke, I was reading A Dowry of Blood. I demolished that book in 1 day. I got home from work and I was so intrigued, and I was just like reading. Next thing you know, I was done. And not even that late. It's not like I stayed up late. I think I finished at like 11 p.m. But I think I mentioned that it actually was a lot more in depth than I thought it was going to be. It covered a lot more of Dracula, even though they don't call him Dracula in the book. I don't know if that's like because of copyright or whatever, but that's what they're implying, that it's Dracula. So it's, yeah, it follows him like acquiring partners throughout the years after what is her name? Constanta. What a name. And I think it's really interesting how the author really takes a deep dive into like domestic abuse, and many times we think of that as like physical violence, which there is some of that in the book, but there's just so many other aspects to abuse in a home, and I think the author explored that really well, especially giving us the perspective of the wife and how she felt, and also like the camaraderie that she felt with the other like sister wife, etc., and how they could just like no longer take it. They explored the difficulty that one of them had with mental health as a result, and how that affected the relationships between them. And I just thought it was so beautifully written. I had such a good time with that book. I ended up giving it 4 stars. The only reason I didn't give it 5 stars was because of the epilogue. It just like was really unnecessary, and I don't know. It just felt like they were just dragging the book out when it could have been done. And granted, it was a short book, but we could have done without that. And I also like especially really love the character of Magdalena. I feel like she just gave it this little like spice and like switched things up. She wasn't a super developed character in the book. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, she kind of just had like one defining trait, but that's okay. She wasn't the main character. It was not about her. Anyways, I moved on. I am now reading a children's Bible by Lydia Millett. And no, this is not a Bible. It's a novel called A Children's Bible, and it's about a group of very mature children who are on this like vacation with their parents, and a storm comes in and they decide to escape and run away. I honestly, like, this is the thing. I can never update you guys in the middle of the book because I read on my commute, and it's 2 hours to work and 2 hours home. So that's like 4 hours of just dedicated reading time all in one shot. But this book, I did fall asleep on the train this morning, so I only made it into 100 pages of this book. But it is only 120 pages, so I think I could probably just finish it right now in one sitting. It is a fairly easy book to read, but I will say it's very weird, like eerie vibes, very untrustworthy parents, and the children, you can tell that there's like an aspect of neglect, not only because of the actions that you see, but also just their like level of maturity. I feel like sometimes when you see a very, very mature child at like a very young age, that can sometimes be a sign of neglect because they're kind of forced into maturing because they have to do things for themselves that other children normally don't have to do. And I say this from experience. So it's interesting that the author was able to like portray that in the book. And it's also just like really weird and really quirky and eerie. Eerie's like the best word that I can use to explain this book. I'm really enjoying it. And also, I don't know if like certain parts are supposed to be funny, but I think they're funny. Like, okay, come on. There's this one part where, so there's this one mother, and all the children, they're basically playing this game where they are not identifying each other's parents, and they're trying to go as long as possible without the other parents guessing who their parents are. And so they just refer to all the adults in the house as the moms, the mothers, and the fathers. And so like there's this one woman who they've been referring to as the fat mother this whole time, and then all of a sudden her water breaks and they're like, oh my god, she's not the fat mother. Or at least just temporarily fat. I thought it was really funny and clever, and also very like childlike, you know, even though they're very mature and they have these mature adult conversations, you can see the little aspects where, okay, they are children, they don't actually know what they're doing or talking about. And it shows in that way. But in the same token, it's also like, how do you not know that a woman is pregnant? Like, are you that sheltered? Something very strange is going on here. Anyways, enough talking. I'm going to finish a children's Bible, and I'll let you guys know how I feel tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe I don't have a song. Maybe I saw you on the train last night and I just walked on by. I have this song stuck in my head for like weeks now, and it's like some random person on Instagram who makes music. It's really good. Anyways, I don't have much time because so I actually, when I started working, was a teacher, and I taught kindergarten my very first year, and then I moved on to 3rd grade. But the kids who I taught in kindergarten are graduating from elementary school today. I've already cried, so let's just not go there. We'll move past that to what you're actually here for, which is the books. Yeah, I did not have like the energy or the mental capacity yesterday to film. I thought about it. I laid around and really was like, I should probably give you an update, and I just couldn't do it. But we're here now, right? So let's pretend that today is Thursday. I finished a children's Bible by Lydia Millett. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce her name. I hope so. I'm sorry if it's not. But first of all, this book is very satisfyingly blobby. Love that for us. I really like this book. I just punched myself in the face with a book. Like I said, this is shaping up to be the most chaotic vlog. I finished a children's Bible. It was so weird. This is probably one of the weirdest books I've ever read in my life. Even though I've also been just reading a lot of weird books this week in general, because Tender is the Flesh, what even was that? That threw me all the way off. This book, I was like so pleasantly surprised at how much I liked this book. There was some like eco horror for sure. There was like this random child who did a random thing over a doll that really threw me off, because that was like the very first thing that happened that was super weird. And I don't even want to say it because I don't want to take the shock value away from it, but that really threw me off. However, I did also think that the book was really funny. There's certain things that the kids do that like kind of make you laugh. Like they're very mature children, but at some points you're like, oh yeah, you're still a child. And I think she does a really good job of portraying that. Like, for example, the kids like are kind of playing this weird game where they don't want the other kids to know which one of the parents are their parents. So all of the adults are referred to as the mothers and the fathers, and they try to kind of guess who's each other's parents. And because of that, they don't know the parents' names. They refer to them as like the fat mom, the peasant mom, all these like weird nicknames. And it's so funny later on because the parents who they have like these nicknames for reveal things about themselves that make you kind of question the nickname that they gave you. And it's really funny to kind of, you know, play that game along with them. I also thought it was really like profound, this book. There was a lot of metaphor. I think that the plot in this book quite literally mirrors the progression of the relationship between a parent and a child. So for example, in the beginning of the book, you have the kids who are quite literally like depending on their parent, just like they do when you're a child. you depend on your parent, you believe that they have answers to things, that they are able to solve your problems. And then as you grow up, you kind of learn that parents are just navigating the world just like we are. And then, you know, you become an adult and you realize, like, oh, they don't actually know everything. And then there's one point where one of the fathers says to the children, like, yeah, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but, you know, gotta lower the expectations here. So they kind of echo that in that conversation, and then later on you see like the younger children start to lose some of like that like unwavering faith in like a parent's like super abilities. And even like at one point they're talking about the parents disappearing, and it's like that's what happens when you become an adult. Parents disappear forever, not in a good way. But you get the point. People die when they get old. So I thought it was really interesting how the entire plot of this book mirrored the stages of a relationship between children and their parents. Yeah, this was a really great book. I debated about the rating because there definitely were some parts of the book that I just really didn't understand. But part of that could be because I was reading in the middle of the night. I just could not put this book down. But because I could not put this book down, and I laughed and was scared and happy and confused and rooting for characters, I'm gonna go with 4 stars. Yeah, kind of wiggled its way into my heart, this little book. Anyways, I'm gonna head out to graduation. I'll let you guys know when I decide to read next. To be honest, I started thinking about it, and I read a lot of like really spooky books this week. It's kind of putting me in like a weird headspace. I don't know if you guys are like that, but I'm the type of person that if I like read too much of something, it could definitely influence my mood significantly. So I think that we're gonna end the vlog here. I'm not gonna read any more books or any more spooky books because I can feel myself going into like this really weird headspace right now. But I did read one last book this week. It was Our Crooked Hearts by Melissa Albert. I actually was so excited to read this book that I had another copy that I was gonna sell because I have this really nice copy from I think the Bookish box, but I wanted to tab the book and annotate because there was some really like cool stuff that she was doing. She did a really good job of like setting up the atmosphere and stuff. So, but I don't want to tab on this obviously because it has sprayed edges. So I was like reading off of this one but tabbing in the other one, which is overly complicated, but like just let a girl be, you know? Anyways, yeah, this was the last book I read. The last book I read this week. It was pretty mid, to be honest. At first I was really excited. I thought like the atmosphere in this book was really good. And she did a good job of setting it up, but then afterwards it just felt like some things like were just very mid. This was a mid book. I ended up giving it 3 stars. It's not a strong 3 stars, but overall an enjoyable experience. So with that, I am going to end this vlog. Thank gosh, it's so long. But yeah, make sure you do all the YouTube things, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys when I see you next.